Peace, family. I hope everybody's having a wonderful night so far. Just coming on here to continue another segment of Career Astrology. Um, Hi, world. My name is Keisha. I am a career and business coach using astrology. Today, I'm coming on here to talk about the South Node in your astrology birth chart. And I just wanted to show you on the screen real quick what the South Node looks like. So the South Node is, I hope you can see my cursor here, family. The South Node is this horseshoe, looks like a horseshoe. And because in this example chart that we're using, it's in Capricorn, this is South Node in Capricorn and the 8th house, okay? And so if you want to follow through with this as I go through this process and you want to get a symbols chart to know how to read the symbols in your chart, you can email me at info@awayoflife.net, and that's LYFE.net, A Way of Life. Okay, and you can get that free of charge. And let me just take this off the screen. Okay. So the South Node represents what you're healing and what you're leaving behind in this lifetime. Typically, when I talk about the South Node, whenever I'm doing a reading, I explain it as the skills and knowledge that you came into this lifetime with. And it's the skills and knowledge that you gain from birth all the way up to age 30, 35. And you enter this lifetime with the skills that feel very familiar to you. This can be an area of life where we take for granted because we know it so well. Another way to look at this is that it's a crutch that keeps us afloat, but doesn't challenge our evolution as a person in this lifetime, which is also the root cause of our unhappiness in this lifetime. The South Node is related to karmic patterns, unfinished themes, and areas of life you're meant to heal, to elevate to your higher awareness of whatever sign that it's in, which is the ancient understanding of this energy. Another name for this is K2 and Rahu. It's actually the North and South Nodes, K2 and Rahu, or Ouroboros. This is a story of fighting ourselves. It's the actual story of melanated people. The symbol is a snake in a circle eating itself. This is the soul versus the human body, free will, and God's plan for you. I talk about this in my first video where I talked about the MC in your rising sign or ascendant sign, and how your MC is God's plan for you, and your rising sign is what we want. So that free will is what us choosing to ignore God's plan for us. If you go back to the first video, you'll hear me talking about that a little bit. This is the story of Dharma and Karma, which is the struggles that we have in our life. Dharma are signals or signs that the universe sends us to show us where we need to evolve. This is actually the story that was playing out all last year and the year before, while the planets, while the North Node and South Node were in Capricorn and Cancer. Because Capricorn rules Black people. Capricorn actually rules a Black substance, and Cancer rules the people. So some people will argue that Cancer actually rules Black people. I'm not going down that road. You could choose for yourself. But really, I feel like this was the awakening for us, an ending of that 400-year cycle of slavery. To really understand this, we have to go back to ancient times when we were in power. When Black was known as Negas or the Moors, the sun was not always known as our sun. It was actually Saturn. that's actually the story of Star Wars, and how they put all of our stories in these movies, and why we're always so attracted to them. And we want to know, like, are we really superheroes? And just we're really connected to the symbolisms and things in this life, like Christmas and the Bible, those stories in there, and so many more other things, is because those are our stories and symbolisms, and deep down we kind of know that. um, and that's really what we're trying to break free from, um, in this lifetime, really understanding that story to its depth. If you're not following Brother Rich's channel, he just did a live with Kevin from the Zoe What Show. So either one of those shows, honestly, if you go back and watch all their shows, Kev on the Zoe What Show, they break this down like that. But Kevin happened to be on Brother Rich's show, and Brother Rich and them they talked about that stuff like a long, long time ago, really breaking down that story and understanding the symbolisms, and why we're so connected to the stories of the gods and things of that nature, because these are all broken down stories of our story. The actual guy who did Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken, was a historian, believe it or not. And that's how really all of this stuff started. He studied history. And so they know all our secrets. They know who we are. We're the ones who need to catch up. But we had slaves when we were in power. We terrorized the British or Europe. We stole their women and took from them. And that's how black got its negative meaning behind it. The word black is because the people that we did terrorize and steal and rape their women, obviously, they were scared of us, so we were black. They associated black or melanated people with that negative connotation. And then we had the Phoenix Moors, which were the higher consciousness of us, the scholars, the more calculated of us, or who we elevated into. And what we began to see at that time was how we neglected people by not sharing our knowledge and bullying everyone. Then we started to share our knowledge, and that's kind of where we made our mistake, because they used that against us. And that's how we lost power. Right? So, which we need to keep in mind during this time, even though I'm talking about this from a career perspective, this is the karma in our lives, and why it's so important for us to really take this seriously and go through this healing process and elevate, because we have to redo that karma. That is why we are here, to undo what we did, and to do that in such a way without hatred or malice or revenge in our hearts. Otherwise, we will keep repeating this lifetime where slavery is actually a thing. Now, if that doesn't motivate you to change or do the right thing, learn more about who you are, I don't know what will. When I first heard that, I was like, whoa. Like, where do you hear those kind of stories at, But anyway, ultimately, when I'm doing a life path reading, I'm telling you what you want out of life and God's plan for you. And the workshop that I have that's starting up in October is going to help you map each possible version of your purpose together in a way that makes you happy. And this heals you. Working through this process is a healing process. You also want to look at the house that the South Node is in. It's that area of life that this storyline will show up the most in, but that also shows you how you're elevating and consciously developing in that part of your life. You can be in contact with people who share that same energy of the South Node, that are going to feel very familiar to you. This is considered your past life connection. Very supportive. They can be, these people that come in your life can be very supportive, very understanding. They can also be the energy that you are moving away from and be a growth catalyst. They're helping you see something in a way that can help you grow. It's showing you something that is incomplete from a past lifetime, and you get to heal and work through that at this time. I actually had a very real experience like that just recently, that it took me a while to learn that lesson. I think the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is very closely related to relationships and love relationships and romantic relationships. So I just did a video talking about Neptune and how you can have boundary issues. Good Lord, was that such a real story for me. I had to like step back and realize like, whoa, 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 this person is everything that I think of that I wanted romantically and a partner, but that's not what his purpose was. It was to show me again to be a growth catalyst. And this is how I learned all about money, and I elevated my life in that kind of way and understood how money plays a major role in my purpose in this lifetime. And it was really a beautiful experience to have somebody so understanding, but bittersweet because I had to let go of that connection because of my boundary issues. You know, I wasn't seeing it clearly and I needed to do that, but nonetheless, amazing experience. I will never forget what I learned in that 3 years time. But it definitely was a healing process, and this can be a healing process for you in relationships as well, not just business partnerships, but all partnerships. So it's really important, family, to know your chart, know where this stuff is happening to you, understand it for you so that you can begin to start healing and seeing your situations perhaps in a different kind of way. Okay. There's also something called a nodal reversal. When you have a node in the opposite of the transiting node, it's a check and in point. It shows you what you have learned and released from the south node, and the north node comes in to support that energy, and it actually supports the completion of a lesson for you, which is, oh, I'd love to experience that in a lifetime. So just before I jump into all 12 signs, I just want to show you a chart, family, because I really, really think it's important so you can see, even though you might not know what the heck I'm talking about. So what I did is I put another sample chart up here. Now, even though both nodes in this chart are the same, but I just wanted you to see what it is I'm talking about. So this is a double chart. So this is a transit chart. So in the middle here is somebody else's chart, and then this is the outer chart of the sky. I actually think I put in today's date. And so what you're looking at is somebody who is having a nodal return in Gemini and Sagittarius, the way there's a nodal return. The nodes are in Gemini and Sagittarius right now. And so if you had this and this was upside down, this outer one was upside down and they were opposite, that's called a nodal reversal, you know? And so that would be relevant to you and your story. And what I was just talking about. So I hope that made sense. Again, family, if you have questions, don't hesitate to come up in here and be like, Keisha, I don't know what you're talking about, but I need to know. Don't hesitate to reach out, and I will love to have a 15-minute consultation with you. Okay. Now we're going to jump into all 12 signs. So family, like I did in my last live, what I did was I told everybody who's not interested any further in this segment of the live, feel free to, you know, do your thing. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. Peace. And for those who are going to continue and rock out with me until I get through all 12 signs, what I did was I focused on the energies of the lower vibrations, because that's more about what the South Node is releasing, the lower vibrations of these signs. So I'm going to focus on what you'll need to work on and heal and fix in order to elevate in your north node. So then when we get to the north node of this energy, you can play around with it, with these energies a little bit, and see kind of where you're at, what kind of work you do. And then it gets real fun when we start breaking down all the different placements in your chart, and you really, really get the chance to play around with these energies in such a way that can really help you get through some healing and understand your path in this lifetime. So for Aries, you're leaving behind the desire to do things on your own, aware of what you're fighting for, aware of the unhealthy warrior, where you're acting out of anger, impulsiveness, threatening, or taking things personally, only thinking of yourself. This is where you begin to see the above mentioned things as a message and open up to partnerships here, because Libra is the opposite sign. And so you begin to balance out that energy. Okay, and then Taurus elevates the role of money, security, and self-reliance. So this energy can focus too much on what you want and what you have accumulated and where you need security. This reveals where you don't trust yourself, and it reveals where you don't trust that you can be supported. So once you start knowing you don't have to do everything on your own, there are people you can work with, and there are resources and opportunities out there for you. Once you let go of control, you'll defeat your past. And for Gemini, you're leaving behind an overactive mind, feeling decisive, feeling like you have to think it through before you take action, how much you put on your thoughts, and how that has prevented you from living or having experiences, how you are ready to take a risk, step out of your mind and do something. There is also the need to look at the power of your words, and where you have unconscious thoughts that can elevate you. So like Geminis can do a lot of negative self-talk that can hold you back too, because you know your thoughts create your reality. And so being very intentional on waking up to like positive affirmations and self-love themes and things of that generation of things of that are very, very important to elevate you where you've been stuck. So specifically working on places and areas that you know you need to heal from. Not just, if self-love is not what you need, then don't do self-love. If you need career or you know, wherever your healing needs are, those are the affirmations that you want to focus on. Wherever you've been stuck in a whale, trusting life, where you can go, what you can learn, stay open-minded. Not everything is facts and data. The moment you get past that, you'll defeat your past. And Cancer is learning not to let emotions and feelings control you, learning how to feel stronger in yourself, to move with the tides, to allow energy to shift you and change you in a way that is natural without intense reaction. Learning that you can do things on your own. You can step away from home, from the family. When I thought about this, I kind of thought about, you know how like I mean, it's really not that common these days. But you know, like if you had a child that was going off to college, but they didn't want to break away from the nest. What movie was that? I think that was Baby Boy, where they showed this theory that I'm talking about right now played out so well, where he didn't want to leave his mom's house, you know, he was still living with his mom, trying to have a family and all that. This is kind of what reminded me of this energy when I was doing this. Like, you can leave, you can let go of the family responsibilities and the caretaker. You don't have to do everything for everyone. My mom was like that. My mom's generation was like that. All right, and Leo, learning how to interact with more individuals and to use the strength of taking a risk and bringing that out into the world, taking the risk to be seen, taking the risk to connect, stepping into new friendships and new ways of working with ideas, taking the things that really inspire you and putting them to use. You know, Leos can be stubborn and want to do things their own way. So taking leadership and doing what brings you recognition. You're releasing that ego, release the need for approval, because it will hold you back in the long run. So the bigger message here for Leos is really how to be a leader, but from the heart, right? How are you a boss, but from the heart? So listening to others, knowing that other people have other experiences and can help you learn things, and be that boss, but don't be the overbearing asshole. it's just the truth. Virgo, you're leaving behind the focus of details, aware of faults and what's not working, being overly focused on your body or yourself, being critical, and feeling guilty. Learn to trust what you can't see, feel, or touch. Know that you are supported as you grow away from the physical world. I actually had to really think about that when I was first writing it, to was that a real thing? And then I thought about like some of the Virgos that I know, and I was like, yeah, they are kind of like, they don't believe in the ethereal, or they're like, yeah, no, but they're interested in it. They'll dibble and dabble, but they're like, where's my physicality? And that was interesting. Libra is revealing where you don't have to overly compromise in relationships or for other people. Libra wants peace and all to get along, learning how to stand strong as yourself, learning how to be your own individual without it mattering to others. Develop the strength to be you. Step away from any relationship and partnership or sharing that limits you. Your relationships are going to show you what is you and what is not you. Like a mirror, those mirroring relationships, when you tend to meet people who are like just like you. And unfortunately, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful connection, but almost always a lesson, as opposed to the person you might possibly spend the rest of your life with. Not to say that if a relationship is mirroring you, that it's not going to work, but knowing the difference between, if you are in a relationship that's mirroring you, is it your higher self? Are you completely happy? Are there parts of that relationship that provide that give and take balance in all areas? And that's where it kind of gets sticky and tough to see if you're not on that journey, if you're not consciously reevaluating the things that are going on in your life. I feel like Libras are probably the hardest because they rule relationships. So they really, really get stuck on that. But it's going to reflect back to you either way. Where something is unhealthy because it's uncomfortable, you are here to be an individual. You don't have to take care of other people's things. Be concerned with what other people think. Evaluate yourself based on others. Okay, so Scorpio is letting go of emotional intensity, the feeling the feelings that come up, the experiences that you have that ask you to go deeper to what you feel and what you get as a reaction. Balance the energy with something grounded, and to not go into obsessive or power control tendencies. Step away from other people's energy to assert yourself and the strength of what you value. That was deep. It might sound like it was confusing, but that's actually pretty profound. Sagittarius, beware of the assumptions you make, of the knowledge you're operating from, and the belief systems that have created your life experiences. This is teaching you what is complete for you, what is no longer easy or interesting. It's showing you where you took something for granted, where you came in thinking you had all the answers, the know-it-all righteous attitude. How you share and communicate your beliefs, philosophies, and ideas will have you thinking differently. You want to stay open to opinions, facts, and information that can come in. be curious and listen to what other people have to say. Um, yeah, that one was pretty deep too, but I totally got that one with Saggies. Capricorn, understand you are sovereign. I understand you are a sovereign being, as is everyone else. You're not responsible for everything. You don't have to run the show or take control or take over. Learning how to listen to your feelings, step into what um, something feels like rather than what you can produce. What is true to you internally, and how you can be there for others, how you can support them, and how you can listen to your own feelings. And for my Aquarius friends, it's learning it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to belong, it doesn't have to be a part of a group or a bigger collective. Stepping into your individual obligation, the obligation to others, um, where you thought you had to fit in, be a part of something, show up in your life on your terms. Um, I felt like Aquarius is, it's almost like it's so simple. It's difficult, if that makes sense at all, because that's literally their natural state of being. So I felt like even though that might sound like it makes sense to just be yourself, it might be really difficult for Aquariuses. But Pisces, moving away from feeling flighty, flaky, or feeling like you don't know where you fit in, to not be stuck in avoidance or escapism. There's the potential to feel like a victim here, self-blame or self-pity. You may feel powerless at times, but strengthening body, mind, and soul to be very active in your human experience, to have a passion, a focus that drives you, how you can be of service to others and heal, understanding what supports you on a daily basis, what habits, um, what things you can get done, what you can contribute, how you can be a part of the physical world. I really liked this specifically because I just did that Neptune one, family. If you haven't watched my Neptune retrograde video, this is just a perfect extension to some of the things that you could be working on at this time with this energy. I'd strongly take this and even go and listen to that and see where you can build off of more of that energy to get through this process and really heal through these times. It's just a great opportunity to work with these energies. And as usual, family, I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions at any given time, you can email me at info@awayoflife.net. And life is spelled Lyfe. Peace.